This is 5AA football.
Stadium. It's the Suns.
Now Ablett, standing still, shrugs one, shrugs two, goal!
Taking on the Bombers.
Expecting McDonald, Tip and Woody to go. He paddles it in front of him. It's still alive. It's still alive. They'll get the goal. That's one of the goals of the season. Amazing.
Get involved on social media at AFL Nation on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram using the hashtag AFL Suns Dons. For Macca's, the Chicken Clubhouse is back, now in the Macca's Gourmet Creations range. This is AFL Nation.
Oh, welcome to some Saturday night football here. Round 22, the penultimate weekend of home and away footy in season 2017. AFL Nation for McCafe's best blend yet. At a McCafe drive-through near you, we are at Metricon Stadium for the final time this campaign as the Gold Coast Suns take on possibly a finals-bound Essendon Football Club. My name is Benny Jones. Alongside me is the former West Coast Eagle, former Brisbane Lion, a man who played over 150 games at the top level. Of course, Brent Staker. Stakes, really good to see you, mate. Nice night for footy. A lot at stake for the Bombers, particularly after West Coast fell short against the Giants just a few moments ago.
Yes, very much so, Benny, and thanks for having me. Another cracking night here in Queensland. There is a bit of breeze, so that's unusual for this perfect weather up here, but we're set for a cracking game. Look, a little bit of a danger game for the Bombers. However, I think they will win. Last week the Suns were very impressive, a young Suns team in the Q clash against the Lions, and they performed really well for that first half. They did fall away in the second half, just immaturity of the team and the hardened bodies just couldn't keep up with the young, exciting Lions. But for the Suns to have a chance tonight, they have to start like that again and put a bit of pressure on the Bombers.
Yeah, this is our pre-game show, by the way, for Big Four Holiday Parks, which is home of the Great Australian Break. Check out all 180 locations at big4.com.au. We'll get straight into it because both sides are out there going through their last-minute ream warm-ups as the players looking and going through their paces. If your hot water needs replacing, accept nothing less than Australia's best. Install a Ream, Australia's #1 in hot water. Stakes, let's get into some Lottoland matchups. Keno 24/7 is now live at lottoland.com.au. Before our ground and weather report, of course, here are a couple of one-on-ones or maybe just, I suppose, positional battles that you're looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, look, the one-on-one, I mean, Aaron Hall is one player for the Suns who last week was on fire. He was a really good player, created a lot of play. I think he'll get tagged tonight. I'm going to go with Craig Bird from the Bombers. I think he'll be the player to take on Hall. The ruck duel, I'm going to keep an eye on. Tom Bell Chambers is back in the team for the Bombers, and he's up against the youngster, Keegan Brooksby. He's in his 13th game. He's a big unit, but a good challenge for him in this young Suns team. So that'll be a good challenge. And obviously one big matchup, a good one-on-one duel, bit of an old-fashioned duel maybe, Benny, is Joey Danaher versus Stephen May. We know how good Joey Danaher is and how lively he can be up forward, but we know how strong and brutal Stephen May can be. So, look, these two head-to-head, it should provide an exciting call for us and an exciting matchup for the fans to keep an eye on.
Well, Joey's playing catch-up, of course, tonight. Joey Danaher, after Josh Kennedy's 4 goals against GWS, he is now 5 behind in the Coleman medal race with 59 next to his name. It's been another fantastic season.
Do you think he knows that? Do you think he's been told that?
Be well aware of it. Anyone who likes to kick goals, and speaking as a forward pocket from years gone by, you always know how many other people are kicking. Don't worry about that. Keno 24/7 is now live at lottoland.com.au. You can bet to win up to $10 million every 4 minutes. Only at Lottoland can you bet on Keno 24/7 on the go via the app or the website. The toss of the coin has taken place, and it was won by the Gold Coast Suns, Stephen May, and he pointed to the left, so that is the direction the Suns will kick in this opening term. A ground and weather report for the Pope Auto Wind Hose Reel. Even 20 metres out, it's a safe bet. I can't believe I'm saying this, Stakes. A low of 12. That's almost single figures, which I didn't know existed up in this part of the world.
Yeah.
Cloudless skies. There is a little bit of breeze about it. Might get a little dewy later on, so a fast start, as you said, paramount. But the surface here is A++. It is absolutely perfect. So all is in readiness. We're awaiting the bounce of the footy here on AFL Nation for McCafe's best blend yet at a McCafe drive-through near you. And as we're moments away from the start, harm from gambling starts earlier than you think. Get the tools to help you stay in check at betcheck.vic.gov.au. It will be umpire Matt Stevic to get us underway. Brent Staker here for Red Energy, Who's your tip? And give us a margin as well.
I think it'll be a tight one, Benny. I think the Bombers will get over the line. I think they'll do it in about 18 points, I'm going to say. And can I just quickly say, Piers Hanley has started the game in the middle. Looks to have lined up on Dyson Apple. He's a big inclusion for the Suns.
And Bird looks to have gone to Swallow from the outset. Let's see if that lasts. It will be Bell Chambers up against Brooksby. Matt Stevich. It's a fantastic bounce of the football, and we'll give that one to Brooksby. There is David Swallow. First meaningful possession of the game in the direction of Martin, who takes a terrific mark, will be paid. Started like a house on fire. 3 opening term goals in the Q Clash last week. His first disposal this week, though, sadly lets him down. Instant turnover. Zaharakis, he marks at half back.
Oh, he took a great mark. He had the right idea, Jack Martin. He just obviously got a little bit confused and tried to pull the trigger too quick, but had to get the kick a bit deeper.
Chip out to the left flank was to Brennan Goddard. His kick, it might have drifted just a little bit wide. It has, out of bounds on the full, so the Suns will get the ball back, and they'll get an opportunity here through Jack Leslie.
Just need to create a bit of movement here, the Suns. I know it's early, but just don't stand around too much.
Yeah, they all drifted just to one pocket. Now a free kick's been picked out here, and it will go to the Suns despite the mark from Ambrose. And it will go to the big man, Keegan Brooksby. Having a look at his record. No goals yet this season. Of course, this is only his second game, so probably a little harsh on the big fella, but he has only kicked 3 in his AFL career to date.
I'm surprised no one's sort of gone around for a quick handball, Benny. He must be able to kick the footy pretty well. Kick it from 50.
See how he goes. Well, he hasn't kicked that one awfully well to the goal square. Big fly from Bell Chambers. He nearly missed the footy. Now there's plenty of bodies around the ball here. 6 metres out from goal. Quick snap, Swallow. And he has just missed to the near side. So really making something out of nothing there, David Swallow. He's been busy early. Minus score, and that is on the Flight Centre scoreboard. Best in the air and everywhere. The Bombers trying to take the kick in quickly, and that kick from Goddard was a little deep over the top of Connor McKenna's head, out of bounds, 60 around from the Suns' goal.
And Brooksby again there, the big ruckman putting the pressure on to get it out of bounds. Good play. Gives the Suns a chance to re-enter 50.
Matty Rosa forced to go into the ruck there against Bell Chambers. Ainsworth grabs it, kick smothered, and that's off the hands of Parrish, out of bounds again for another boundary throw-in.
I think it might be a bit of a ploy by the Suns having Rosa in the ruck, because Brooksby has gone forward, and
he's there again. You're right.
There's no other true ruckman looking to take in the team other than 2 metre Peter, but they've gone with the 2 tall forwards, which is Brooksby and 2 metre Peter, the Suns. Giving
away about 10 centimetres and about 20 kilos. Bell Chambers won the tap, then got the crumb and kicks it to Danaher. Takes the mark and takes off Big Joe. Now the Bombers are away. Hooker back to Danaher. Evades one tackle, and that was of May, then Hall. His handball was a little slick for Bird, and the Bombers have turned it over. Swallow to Hanley. And in the centre corridor here at Metricon, he looks for Martin. Good spoil by Baggerley. Can't get the footy second time around. Parrish was there for support. Off bodies, it comes to Baggerley. He steadies, he chips, and it's good. To half back, he finds Heppel. Dyson Heppel takes off. He's got the lead coming from Hooker. Turning circle of the Queen Mary. He won't get to that one. Leslie picks it up. Hooker gets him. Not before his handball gets to Miller. Tippin Woody with a great tackle. Plays coming back, those Stakes.
Yep.
Maybe a bit of holding on.
Yeah, behind the play. I think it was...
I think it's Hooker, maybe.
It was. Hooker. It was, yep.
It'll go to Leslie. And in fact, it's coming here to Sard. Adam Sard. Just defensive side of centre wing here for the Gold Coast Suns. Only score so far, a David Swallow behind. Sard takes off, looks up, kick in the direction of Brooksby. Good spoil coming through there was from Hartley. Rosa dropped the ball. Sard was there to pick it up. I think the boundary umpire has said that has just ticked over the boundary line. It has, and will be tossed back into play 80 metres out from the Suns' goal.
And we get a look to see here who's going to take the ruck for the Suns. And we've got, as soon as they put their hand up, it's another young fella. That's not Rosa this time.
Well, Swallow's in the vicinity.
This Swallow.
Not standing anywhere near Bell Chambers. Now comes over to create some sort of contest. I don't know if this is a ploy that's going to work long term.
No.
Bell Chambers just plucked that out of the ruck contest and ran off and took possession. Stewart, handball here to Bird. Ducks and weaves. Kick wasn't his best. Hall will cut this off at half back for the Suns. Scrappy start to this game, Stakes.
Very much so, Essendon especially. But I don't mind the Suns trying to take the game on in the ruck, but it might come back to bite them.
Hall to Rosa. Wright's got the sit. Peter Wright takes the mark. will go back. We know he's a prodigious kick of the football, but he'll have to give this everything he's got. When boot hits foot, he'll be all of 55 metres out, possibly even further.
Look, I think he's got the distance, and once again, he did this last week. He started the game well. He took a good, strong contested mark early, and he went back, and I think he kicked the goal. So, similar start this week for Peter Wright, but he's got to do it for 4 quarters, but break it down, get the first quarter out of the way first.
With no Tom Lynch out there on the ground, he's the leading goal kicker for the Suns. And you can hear down the effects, Mike. He has absolutely nailed that from long range.
Number 30, Peter Wright, with the first goal of the evening.
First goal here on AFL Nation. And we're here, of course, for the Chicken Clubhouse. It's back and now in the Macca's Gourmet Creations range on the Flight Centre scoreboard. It's the Gold Coast Suns with all the scoring to date. In fact, I don't even know if the Bombers have been inside 50. 1-1-7 the Suns. The Dons yet to score, and that is on the Flight Centre scoreboard. Best in the air and everywhere.
Yes, no, you're right, Benny. I don't think the Bombers have broken 50, but they look a bit shaky going forward. It's early days. It's only 5 or 6 minutes into the game, and they missed a couple of easy targets, and it's resulted in turnovers. But the Suns, they did need to start well. I mentioned that. And they're putting the scoreboard pressure on early. That's all they can do for this young team at the moment.
29th goal of the season, back in the middle. That was for Peter Wright, of course. Heppel, Zach Merritt back in. Now here's Bird. Well, Goddard went without it, went the one hand. It didn't stick, but he had Bird there in support to mop up. And now the Dons can break off half back through McGrath. His handball wasn't great. Hall read it well and cut it off. Lonergan there. He can't get clean hands to the football. It's a bit slippery early. Heppel touched it in the direction of McGrath, who just punts it forward, and here goes Danaher. May with him for company. Left and right goes Joe. May jockeyed him well, forced the ball over the boundary line where it'll be tossed back in. 70 around from the Dons goal. It's the Suns by 7 points, 6 minutes into this game, and that is on the Ray White clock. They have the know-how.
That's a good duel to watch. We did say that. May versus Danaher. You could see the intensity around that contest. Lucky not to give it deliberate there, Joey. Danaher.
Bell Chambers just delightful in the path of Zaha Rakus and Stewart. Didn't take the mark in the end. I thought he had enough of a purchase on it, but getting back to support young Max Spencer in his 4th AFL game. He's got a big role to play down back, and he forces a ball up.
Yeah, he does. He's lucky not to get a free kick there, Spencer. It was a bit of a shove in the back, and on the Chemist Warehouse replay, really should have taken that mark.
Oh, Bell Chambers again took the ball out of that ball up, but his kick was smothered. Here is Spencer. Sold a neat little bit of candy there to Stewart. His kick almost gets the Suns to the wing. Gleeson, Heppel fights on. Wright stoops down, picks up the footy. Handball in the direction of Harbrow. The Suns are appealing for out on the full, and I think they're going to get it.
They're a bit fumbly, the Bombers. Their cage is rattled early.
Just not quite adjusting to the conditions. That kick wasn't great. Bagley there to Bird. He's about to get wrapped up, and he does by about 3 Suns. Ball's going nowhere. And umpire Robert O'Gorman comes in and says no prior opportunity. I'll ball that up on true centre wing. No score to the Bombers yet. The Suns 7, and we've just ticked past 7 minutes of play.
You can see the Suns setting up really quickly. Pierce Hanley gets into play there.
He does. Gave it to McPherson. He's wrapped up by Heppel and Goddard. He's the meat in the Bomber sandwich. Umpire says, again, no prior opportunity. And we'll have another stoppage.
Why they get these stoppages, that's where the Suns have to set up and be strong and diligent in their direction and communication. Another stoppage. But it just allows them to get a quick rest. But as long as they've got that forward structure, and obviously the defence is in place as we can see here, but as long as they get that forward structure, if it does a quick kick, they take that mark, not allowing it to be intercepted.
Just stoppage after stoppage at the moment. Ball not going anywhere in a hurry. Ridden into the ground, and a free kick has been plucked out to the Suns. And it was there against, just trying to identify that player for the Bombers. It was the youngster Josh Begley who's making his debut. His first involvement, a free kick against. Danaher with half a sniff. May did well to just tap the ball on in the direction of Spencer. His kick out wide to a one-on-one. Good contest. Free kick, though, has been picked out, and I think it will go to the Bombers. And I think...
He's unlucky there.
Yeah, it's going to go to Marty Gleeson. It might have been a little bit stiff.
Against Stanley, I think.
So Gleeson will just chip backwards to Goddard. The switch is on here for the Bombers. They've worked it from the right side to the left, and here it is with the skipper in Heppel. His low burning kick is fantastic. A forward would love to be on the end of that, and Stewart for the Bombers was to Tip and Woody. Gets hands to it, but over his head. Hall. Got it from Hallahan, and now it's with Brooksby. So the big ruckman, who isn't actually playing in the ruck for the most part. Kicks to Lonergan.
He's He's sort of playing as that height or tall forward, trying to get up the ground. Now he's trying to get forward. But yeah, interesting how Dean Solomon structured this forward line, trying to go with the two talls as Brooksby comes off for a quick breather. That just leaves one tall on the field, and that's Peter Wright.
So the Suns have had plenty of possession and worked it across half-back from Spencer to Hall, and now to the wing they go. And a little bit of patient football here from Gold Coast is working out okay. Fiorini, his first involvement, dangerous kick, nearly cut off by Zaharakis. Spencer got there, back to Fiorini by hand, and now likewise to Hall. He darts inside, right foot kick, inside 50, right again with the sit, back of the pack, Ainsworth just takes the easiest of marks, strolls in, kicks another goal. And that was far too easy. All eyes on Peter Wright. He flew, never got near the footy. Benny Ainsworth stayed down and reaped the rewards.
Yeah, yes, you mentioned it well then, Benny, that the Suns were controlling the play. They really did control that then. They didn't blaze away. They didn't make any poor mistakes or bad decisions. And it was Aaron Hall that took the game on. He realised that he had a bit of space. He attacked that space in front of him and broke inside 50, kicks that footy, long inside 50. And the Essendon defenders get drawn to Peter Wright. Smart by Ben Ainsworth to sit at the back as a small forward. They're either at the back or the front. No point being at the side. He chose the back and kicked a good goal, running into open goal.
Some Simmons Home stats, and they are proudly building family homes and have been since 1949.
Umpire took a tumble.
Yeah, umpire Nick Foot's gone down in the middle. 6 disposals to Aaron Hall. He's been everywhere early. Leading possession winner on the ground, Dyson Heppel, started brightly for the Bombers. He's got 4. 3 handballs to Joe Danaher, but I'm sure John Worsfold would much prefer that to be 3 kicks and somewhere in the vicinity of the big sticks. Here's Zaharakis from the stoppage. Hacks it out to the left. Bouncing on end. May collects. His kick over the head of Harbrow. Getting back in the race to the footy was Heppel, Ainsworth, but the boundary beats them both. And it'll be tossed back in, just attacking side of the wing for the Gold Coast Suns.
This ruck situation for the Suns has got me intrigued. Matt Rosa here now put his hand up against Bell Chambers.
Persisting with it?
Yeah, they're going to persist with it. I think they'll go for the first quarter. It just can be a bit confusing if players start to fatigue and forget their role and who was meant to be going for the ruck.
Heppel nearly got caught high. Great tackle there on Hallahan by Bird. He wasn't rewarded, but the Bombers win the footy regardless. Here's Heppel, loping left foot kick. Inside 50 they go, just. Mark taken by David Myers. He wastes no time with his left foot. 1-on-1 in the goal square. Stewart up against Spencer. Nearly took the mark again, Stewart. He's had a couple of opportunities early, and they just haven't been able to stick. We check in on the Flight Centre scoreboard, and you can see where their passionate travel experts can take you. Book online in-store or call 13 16 00. The Suns 2-1-13. The Bombers yet to trouble the scorers.
Young Maxi Spencer just then in another one-on-one, Benny. Didn't get beaten, got the ball to ground. We've seen him perform the last couple of weeks, and he's a good up-and-coming defender.
Stewart hit it straight to Fiorini, and he gave it to Lonergan, whose clearing kick got to the wing. But here,
Kelly
now heading inside 50 again, the Bombers through James Kelly. Great mark with the flight of the football, and that took courage from Calamar Cheek.
Yeah, nice mark. Very good mark. Had to back himself in there, and very timely in defence.
Heads across his defensive goal square to
May.
He had the 1-2 there, and he's turned it over. Zaharakis looks up inside 50, and the Bombers will get their first sider on goal. Really disappointing from the skipper there. It's going to be the young man on debut, Josh Begley. He kicked 4 in a pre-season game against the Gold Coast Suns earlier in the year, and we get our first look at a young man who is very, very highly rated at Bomberland.
And he's from Upper Ferntree Gully, Benny. You'd probably know where that is. And and Eastern in the Victoria there, under 18s.
Outskirts of Melbourne. Let's have a look at how he kicks for goal. His first in AFL footy. And what a great moment. And look at the Bombers all get around young Josh Begley. Well done. And more importantly, Stakes, it's a real nerve settler for the Bombers, who have started this game with a little bit of trepidation.
I think so, yeah. Look, they haven't convinced me at the start, that's for sure. But to get that goal there from the first gamer, it gives them a little bit of respite, Benny.
Well, it does. There's a lot on the line for them. We've got to keep in mind they can go to 7th with a win tonight.
Yep.
I think, look, once they're in the 8, they've got Fremantle to come next week, and we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but really, Fremantle that Eddie had, they should be winning that. They win tonight, they're just about finals bound, so there is pressure that comes with that.
There is pressure, that's right. There's a scalp there for the Suns to get, but there's Also, a lot of upside for the Bombers. They'd know that.
Yep. 13 plays 6, 13.5 minutes scored first term on AFL Nation for Maccas. The Suns win the centre clearance. They head wide. Harbrow. Great work by James Kelly just to jockey him, and he has forced a kick inside, and that's hurt Bird.
That was a good contest.
He
I think that was from Stanley.
Yep. Kick inside 50 by Lonergan. Couple of Bombers fly down at ground level. Good pick up, Goddard. Nice hands to Bagley, and now they'll look to spread. Here's young Andrew McGrath, the #1 draft pick. He's averaging 19 disposals in his debut season. And here's big Joe Danaher, a long way from goals at half-back. So he does what he does best. Left foot, long kick in the direction of Hooker. Good spoil, Suns though. And they're away. Through Miller. Back inside 50 they go. Martin with the fly. Jack Martin couldn't take the mark. Bit of a spill there from Hartley. Teammates under pressure. Goddard did it really well, and they should be able to clear. Well, just holding up play there is McGrath, and he'll now look up. He's got a player all by himself, just about on the wing. It's Bell Chambers, and they've got the overlap happening here, States.
They do, and if it's a good kick.
Begley.
Oh, good vision.
Inside Stewart. This time it sticks. But James Stewart, the former Giant, and he can go back 45 out, directly in front, to get it back to just a 1-point margin.
And the first gamer, composure. He could have blazed away there. I think he did have Hooker going back inside 50 in a, you could call it a one-on-one. I think it was Hooker, but he had a couple of options, and he probably chose the hardest option, but it actually worked from the young Josh Begley.
So Scotch College product, went through the Sandringham under-18 system, found his way to the Giants, was never really settled there. Collingwood ignored him, of course, under a father-son. The Bombers snapped him up, and here he is shooting for goal from 45 out directly in front. Goal umpire has moved ever so slightly to the left, but not enough to deny another goal to the Bombers. 2 in a row. James Stewart, his first, and the Suns 2-1-13. Essendon 2 straight 12 on the Flight Centre scoreboard.
Yeah, you mentioned that, Benny. James Stewart, he's 198 centimetres, so he's a big lump of a lad. 23 years of age, and he's 94 kilos, so he's a big boy. And plenty of maturity, or plenty of growing left in him, I think. I mean, size-wise, he's 23 years of age, so he definitely fill out as he gets older. And if he, he's that right size, it could be a power forward or help Joey Danaher up forward. So, or he become a swingman. So, bright future for that young man.
Red Energy expert comments coming from Brent Staker. Red Energy, a 100% Australian gas and electricity retailer. And it's going to be Matt Stevick to get us back underway. AFL Nation, hope you're enjoying our Saturday night coverage. The Chicken Clubhouse is back, and the Bombers, well, they're back in this contest. Away they go. Here he is again. Young Begley. This kick inside 50 is lace out to Hooker. And Stewart again, in fact. So James Stewart, he could have 2 goals in 45 seconds, and both assists from Josh Begley. What a start to his AFL career.
Great start. He'd be absolutely high on life, confidence. When you get these early touches and you do something with it in your first game, it'll set him up. It's a shame that he's only got, potentially could have a few more games this season. I was going to say, shame's only got 1 more game, but they'll play finals.
He plays this well for the next 4 quarters. He's going to be mighty hard to drop. They've got some players to return, but let's keep our eyes on James Stewart. Kicked a goal 45 seconds ago. This one closer in, and he has done exactly the same. 2 in a row to Stewart, 3 in a row to the Bombers. And maybe a bit of order restored here at Metricon Stadium on the Flight Centre scoreboard, best in the air and everywhere. The Gold Coast Suns 2-1-13. Essendon 3 straight 18. We've played 17.5 minutes on the Ray White clock.
They've got an interesting mix, the Bombers, when you look at all their players. I mean, there's a Bagley, there's a Begley, you've got this Stewart now. It's, from the Bombers that I suppose we've always known to this year and seen a lot of players come through the ranks. We know last year was a bit of a wipe that year out, but they've really come together this season. It's impressive to watch, and it's one of the good news stories for the year for me. I like watching the Bombers, and learning a lot about these players. A lot of players out there that are fresh in the AFL that are obviously going to be champions.
Well, it's been one of the great byproducts, one of the real positive byproducts of the players that were banned, of course, under that supplement saga, is that they discovered the likes of Fantasia, who's not here tonight, but McDonald, Tip and Woody. These are guys that probably wouldn't have had a look in otherwise.
Correct.
Now they're just absolute locks in the best 22. From the centre bounce, ball is on the wing. Overrunning it there was Ainsworth, picked up by McKenna. Here he is again. Josh Begley. Might mark him down for the 3 votes shortly. Kick here. Again. He's nearly hit Stewart for the 3rd time in a row. Oh, they're going to kick the goal anyway, the Bombers. Jaden Laverde, oh, he strolled in and he's missed from about 12 metres out.
He could have given the handball.
I was writing it down. Chemist Warehouse replay. It was almost too easy. Train hard, live large with INC Sports Nutrition from Chemist Warehouse. First minor score, first miss for the Bombers. 2-1-13 the Suns. Essendon 3-1-19. 19 minutes played first term here on AFL Nation.
Don't know if I'm being a bit critical here, Benny, but I don't know how he didn't see Josh Green in the goal square by himself.
Oh, he wouldn't be happy with that, Greeny, too, your former teammate. Little forward pockets. They like the Joe the Goose from time to time.
Oh, jeez, he's right in front of him. How did he not see him? He's by himself.
He'll be chalking that one down, Josh, and he'll remind him of it on the footy trip. You owe me, son.
That's right. There's my beer.
Free kick against Joe Danaher at half forward for the Bombers. Keegan Brooksby took the kick and then banged it straight into the fingertips of Danaher. So they've turned it over the Suns. Zaharakis, Stewart with the sit again. Couldn't take the mark. Gets his own crumb. Runs into a teammate, which was...
Stephen May's wiped out his own teammate.
He has, yeah. There's a player down for the Suns.
I think it's Sard.
It is Sard. He's slow to get to his feet. You keep an eye on that one, Stakes. We've got a stoppage 20 metres out from the Bombers' goal.
Stephen May came across for the third man in that contest, an absolute steam train. He missed everything except Adam Sard.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Free kick was paid against Begley for holding the footy. So now it's the Suns who look to clear through Fiorini. Good spoil by Hartley. Bangs it to the top of 50. How are the hands from Green to Zaharakis? Oh, and guess who, Stakes? Guess who's got it? 48 metres out.
The debutant.
Oh, he's going beautifully. Now they start to run around. Danaher was in the vicinity, but look, the kid's in such good form and confident. Go back and bang it home from 52, son.
He has to do that. He was looking to give the handball off early, but smart that he didn't because there was a bit of pressure. But he could now because there is not one Suns player outside of 50. Every Suns player is inside defensive 50. So if he wanted to give the hands off to somebody, it is absolutely simply easy to do.
Goddard's hanging around. Gee, that's not a bad kick. That is a fantastic kick. Welcome to AFL football. This kid has just settled in like no one I've ever seen before. 20 minutes into his career, he's kicked now 2. He's set up 2. He's had a hand in all 4 Bombers goals. Josh Begley, kind of a star in the making. No wonder he's highly regarded at Bomberland. The Suns 2-1-13. Essendon 4-1-25. For Simmons Holmes, can you give me his numbers, please, Brent Staker?
I can, yes. For Josh Begley, he's had the 5 kicks. That's it. He's had 5 disposals and 4 marks. 3 inside 50s, and he's kicked the 2 goals straight.
And another couple of assists.
And you might be rivaling Chris Judd. Chris Judd for his debut.
That's right, absolutely. He is on fire, the young man, and the Bombers have really flicked the switch here at Metricon Stadium. They lead by 2 straight kicks and have kicked the last 4. Out in the middle, Bell Chambers bangs it forward. Danaher takes a great mark, contested, and there's nothing. Stephen May did everything possible, but still, Danaher comes down with it. And almost directly in front. He'll have to kick this from inside the centre square. But we've seen Joe Danaher launch them. And looking for goal number 60 in this incredible season he is putting together.
Yeah, strong jukes on that Chemist Warehouse replay. He just eyes for the footy. When he gets those big long arms out in front, and he's so strong. They're long arms, but they're so strong.
Here he goes. Arcs around onto the left. Boy, he struck that okay. Has it got the journey? Not quite. Goal umpire perfectly positioned. It's been rushed through, has it? It has. A minor score off the boot. It looked
he gave it a good ride.
Good thing, didn't it? And it just fell short. So 4-2-26 the Bombers move to on the Flight Centre scoreboard. The Suns 2-1-13.
It's a huge effort to have a shot from there. He did back himself in. I thought for a second he's going to try the torpedo, but he stuck with the drop punt and almost made the distance.
Martin from the kick-in had it in the pocket, went across goals to Leslie, and now it's with Rosa. Rosa the ruckman. Well, he has been a little bit tonight. An interesting tactic from Dean Solomon, coaching against his former club that he had such great success at as a player.
So this is where the Suns here. They've switched twice. Now they don't want to switch again. You basically switch twice and then you've got to attack. 5
possessions and the ball ended up right where it started. Now they've at least worked it almost to the wing. It's with Pierce Hanley.
Good to have Pierce Hanley back in the team. You know he's a bit of a barometer for their intensity and their style of play, their running ability.
Down the line he comes. Few bodies fly in for the Bombers. Gleeson was there at the back. Hartley tumbles it forward. Tip and Woody. Bagley gets it. Ducks a tackle of Archie. Looks inside. And he's got Zaharakis again. The kick to the feet of Stewart, gathers, tries to shrug off a tackle, can't. He's caught holding the footy, and well done, young man, Max Spencer. That's a Toro Neptune tackle contender. Drip irrigation that handles pressure better than your footy team. And he had to make the tackle, because otherwise, Stewart, he would have had a snap-on goal and would have had his third.
Yeah, he burned a teammate, Stewart. He could have given the quick hands. He decided to take on the tackler and Max Spencer, but couldn't get through him. And a young fella, you've got to make those tackles, because they missed one here through Archie on the boundary line. So Maxie Spencer saved them there.
Aaron Hall running hot for Ream with his 7th disposal.
Oh, great pressure.
That's a really good bump there from Harbrow and Begley, but he wore it and he rode the bump and gave the handball off. Stewart, this time he didn't miss it by hands. Gets it to Myers. His high ball inside 50 going back with the flight of it. Gutsy mark from the skipper, Stephen May, for the Suns takes it. 35 metres out from the goal he's defending.
He makes up for that poor kick earlier. That's what he can do, Stephen May. He throws himself at every contest, but back and back like that, that's in the category of Glenn Archer. Not knowing what's coming from behind and just throwing yourself with that footy, takes the mark.
Hartley dropped a mark he would usually take. He had McGrath there in support. He gave it to Gleeson, to Kelly. Now it's back with Gleeson. He's wrapped up by a couple of Suns. Just sort of shoveled it out of that contest. Now Hartley again. Did he hold the tackle on Swallow a little long? He did, the umpire says. And as James Kelly takes off like a spring chicken and a 22-year-old, he's called back by the umpire. Now, having a look at our stat sheet here for Simmons Holmes, Adam Sard appearing in blue state, so he may not have pulled up well from that big bump early in the first term.
No, his captain has wiped him out.
Good mark by Martin, and it's been paid. Jack Martin will be too far out to score, I would have thought. 45-degree angle and 60 out from goal. So he wheels around, left foot kick. Nearly marked by McKenna of the Bombers. At ground level, Suns there. Good tackle by Kelly. Heppel. Ainsworth. Can't shrug off a tackle. Gets it to Miller. He looked for Martin, but he had Bagley right behind him. Myers' hands to the Irishman McKenna. It's fumbly, it's ugly, but the Bombers, through merit, are finally clear. But the numbers at half-back are with the Suns.
Yeah, they've got the outnumber sitting behind the footy, but Essendon got the outnumber forward. So if the Suns blaze away now, it's going to be basically marked or kicked out of defensive 50 by Essendon.
And that's what they've done through Rosa. Long kick belt. Chambers just stands tall and takes the mark 20 metres out from his defensive goal line. Flight Centre scoreboard, best in the air and everywhere. It's the Bombers leading this one by 13 points. And we've got just under a minute left in this opening term on AFL Nation.
Here we go again. The Suns intercept the footy.
Hanley, this time, short, drilling past, right, got hands to it, couldn't take it. Hartley, handball here, was all right to Begley. He was dispossessed. Bodies flying. Zaharakis gets the hands clear to Green. The Bombers, what have they got on offer? He just bangs it to the wing.
3v1.
2-on-1. Well, yeah, right. 3-on-1 in the end. And easy pickings there for Aaron Hall. Back inside 50 they go, the Suns. Big fly from Hartley. Couldn't take the mark. It's just rebound footy at the moment. And now a free kick's been picked out. And it's going to go to the Suns. And it's going to go to Jack Martin. 35 out almost directly in front.
And that's what they're relying on, the Suns. They're peppering inside 50 like that. They're not really thinking too much about how they re-enter forward 50. You know, they're not looking for that short. They're getting it back in there as quick as they can. But the Bombers players, there's almost 12 of them standing back inside 50. So they're relying on a free kick. It's okay for the first quarter to do this, but it's unsustainable for the whole game.
Around the grounds, the new canola foliar fungicide from Bayer, Aviating Extro. And at Etihad Stadium, Carlton with the early jump over the Hawks, leading 21-7 back here. Jack Martin's kick. Jack Martin has kicked the goal after the siren. So a Bendix Brakes big moment. And ask your mechanic to fit Bendix Brakes at your next service. At quarter time on the Flight Centre scoreboard, the Gold Coast Suns with that late goal go to 3-1-19. There's a bit going on stakes as the two sides head to their respective huddles. The Bombers, well, they kicked 4 straight there. Before that Martin goal, they lead by 7 points, 4-26. This is AFL Nation. Still some push and shove going on. We'll keep an eye on the fight. We'll take a break and we'll tell you how it all plays out on the other side. The Chicken Clubhouse is back, now in the Macca's Gourmet Creation range. At quarter time on the Gold Coast, it's the Bombers who lead by 7 points.